Questions from, I believe, Chris. It's going to be you, Christopher Browning, and Andrew and Maine. So we'll wait for Maine to jump on the call. I think we can go ahead and kick off and get started with Chris. Are you up for?
Yeah, I'm ready. I got the list. It's fantastic.
He's got the list. Okay.
I did.
Awesome. Well, tell us what you're working on and how we can help.
Sure. First, thanks, Darian and Drew, for the help yesterday getting the project back up. Darian, I think he had to go do his little JavaScript work in the back end. So thanks a lot for that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm working. Yeah. These are going to be pretty quick, easy questions. I'm going to go ahead and share. The first one is, how do I get a JSON structure into Bildr? And I'll show you what I mean. Oh, am I sharing now?
Yeah.
I think I'm sharing, right? Okay, good. I got this very simple, I think it's a sandbox. I put in, this is just for me to test around. Let me get here. Like if I get a little bit of JSON here, right? All I'm trying to do is get this in so I can play around with it, so I can add elements. I figured out how to do that. And essentially just
I think it froze, right? Or is it just me?
Oh, Cora, you're muted. Cora was saying it, she's muted.
Yeah, I think Christopher might have frozen a little bit. Chris, we can't hear you if you're talking and we don't see your camera moving. I don't know if it would help to maybe hide your camera.
Can you hear me now?
Almost.
Yeah, it's like a bad connection.
Yeah, we definitely see you totally frozen. Okay. So maybe he'll jump back on. Let me see here. Maine, are you on the call? Not yet. Okay. Let's go to Andrew. Andrew, are you? Yes, there you are. Would you like to try and share your screen and see? We can jump back to Christopher.
Absolutely. So two things. The first thing is a strange issue with password reset pages. So if I just share my screen, if it'll let me share my screen. No. So I've got template here, which is a password authentication screen. I've set up SendGrid to send email messages. So if I do it from the preview, so I'll just do it for each now. Select to reset, send myself an email. Pick up that email in a second. I click on it. It takes me straight to the password reset page. Great. If I publish that, and I did that just before this meeting, so I've published this version of development to test. If I do the same thing in test, no, not there. If I click on this one, it does the same in production as well. It just takes me straight to the sign-in page. It doesn't take me to the password reset page. And that's published from the one that I showed you in preview. I just did that just before the meeting. Is there a setting I've missed, or is that a bug?
I'm not sure, because if it works in the development, the preview.
Yeah. If I publish it to production or test, it doesn't work. I've published it to both and it doesn't work. And I did it just before the meeting just to make sure I hadn't missed something.
Dorian, is it worth looking at the actual like URLs that it's going to? What he has set up for that button link?
I saw it was correct.
Yeah, it looked correct. That's the first thing I was looking at. But but it won't hurt to just double check the URL that's set up in the SendGrid template.
Oh, yeah, okay. Within
Because
SendGrid
here-
itself.
Yeah, in SendGrid itself, because the button over here, they wrap it into their own thing, so they change it for tracking purposes.
Okay. So do you want to see the one that comes back from SendGrid or the one
No, like if you go into
in SendGrid itself?
SendGrid, yeah,
Yeah.
and then let's go into that template.
Yeah.
And then let's look at that button.
Okay, no
I'm
problem.
pretty sure it's correct in
Yeah.
that. But let's double check.
Yeah. Ah, there we go. 2 seconds.
Yeah, all good. Security first. Cool. So click on that reset password button and I'm gonna look at that URL on the left.
Yeah, it's not actually that thing that's I don't think that's the actual one. Let me see. Oh, it is, yeah. Right. Oh, it says it doesn't have one, but it's obviously sending it. That's strange.
That's interesting.
That's interesting. Let me just check. Strange. Oh, actually, I think that's just a design. I don't think that's a template. I'm missing it.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I think it's under email API or marketing.
It'll say
Say again?
something like transactional templates, right? Or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there
right.
you go.
Okay.
This is it. Yeah, let's go in that. There it is. All right. Yeah, so it's set up dynamic.
Yep.
Yeah, that all looks correct. Yeah, I think this one I might need to look at it like
Yep.
on my own after and
Yeah,
try
that's no
to
problem.
track. I need to like trace and
Yep.
see. It's like something with the route. It's like it's not going to the right page,
Yeah.
or the route is it's like defaulting back to the non-authenticated
Yeah, it
page.
just goes straight back to the login page rather than the reset password page.
Is it
Works
worth
fine in
looking
development,
at the-
but just not in the
at
other
the
two.
settings?
Do you need what do you need from me? I can send the information. Do you need the project number or?
Yeah, just from the preview.
Right, okay,
And then I can use that to find the
problem.
domain.
okay, that to you. That's fine. Okay, I've got a quick other question. Hopefully it's quick. I have been trying to set up the saving of PDF files. My app generates PDFs, and I'd like to be able to save them within Bildr. At the moment, they're generated elsewhere, and I pull them in via an API call. I've worked out how I can do it with a file upload. I can upload the file and then save the URL into the collection. 2 things. Is there any way to do that from taking a URL and pulling it in rather than having to upload the file manually?
Yeah.
So if there is any way I can give a PDF URL and have that upload the file.
Yeah, you should be able to. Is the PDF URL the one you're using now? Is it coming from like another website, or you mean like where's it coming from, or where do you want it to come from? Basically,
I could have it come from at the moment. It's stored in a Google Drive, but it could be stored anywhere. It doesn't. It has. I can set it to have a .pdf extension if required.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can you can set the file upload or the image upload element. For that matter, they're basically the same element. They have slightly different settings by default. That's the only real difference. But you can set the value of those to anything. So it could be a URL, it could be an actual file, like a base64 encoded file. And then there's an action to upload that to like trigger the upload of the file. And that's where you'll get a URL that you can use that you can save.
Okay.
Yeah, you have that set up.
So how would I, rather than doing it from the file uploader, how would I do that then?
What do you mean? You would do it with the file uploader, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, and sometimes I would do that. I would just have the file uploader like with display none, so it's hidden. But I'm actually just doing that in the background, in some cases, because the way to get a file
okay,
from
I've got
outside
you.
of the builder is that file uploader.
I've got you. Okay. Right. Okay, I think I understand. That's fine. That's great.
Is that enough? Or
No, that is, yes, I understand what I've been missing. I think I can go with that. Quick question though. So you get a URL. I get the URL that gives me the file path name in the form sort of /_/document, etc. And that's stored. That's not stored in the data collection, although I can upload that into the data collection.
Once you upload it with the image uploader or the file uploader element, like once it actually uploads, then you can store that URL in the data collection and it'll point to the file correctly.
Okay.
But it's like if you'll see it at first before you upload. So when you see it, that's not necessarily meaning it'll work. But once you upload, then it works.
If I no longer require that, if I don't save it to the data collection, I've still got that URL, which will still work. How do I delete that if I no longer require it?
It won't. That I think is coming soon. Actually, I think there's like an issue where like if user uploaded files, you can't see them to delete them right now.
Okay,
Maybe
that's fine. That's
fine.
fine. So that's maybe coming. That's fine. Okay, great.
Yeah,
I think
that
answers my question. I'll try the file uploader again, do it a different way, and see if I can get that to work. Great.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Dorian, did you have something to add for Andrew?
I was just gonna say the name of that new action that's coming. It's a document delete.
Document delete.
But it's not out yet. We're working on it.
Okay. Talking of new actions, quick question. The API action, has that been released yet? The latest one?
It was supposed to get released yesterday, and I don't think it did. Right? I think.
I don't think it did. I'm waiting desperately for it.
refresh.
Yeah, I was actually testing it today.
Okay.
It's super close.
Right.
So
that's fine.
it'll drop either today or tomorrow, I'm sure. But
I'll have patience then. Okay.
Andrew, I'll send it to you as soon as we know for sure, Andrew. We made another round of what it will be, I think, tangible improvements to it.
Perfect.
That's what really delayed it another day here.
That's fine. No, that's fine. It's good to know. That'll solve my problem with the timeout, hopefully. So that'll be good. Great, Darian, I'll get that URL across to you. Thank you very much.
Send me a DM on Discord, and then I'll get back to you once I figure out.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dorian. Thank you, Andrew. All right, so next up, let's see. Maine, are you in the call today? Let's see if you were able to join. No, she is not. So let's jump over to whoever needed help that maybe didn't chat it in the agenda, but you're here and you want some more help. We've got some time. Alex, I see you would like some help. So if you're ready, come up and we can spend some time talking about your project. Oh, Christopher Browning is back.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm so sorry. I just realized. There you are. Okay, well, no, come back up. Sorry, Alex, right after Chris.
All right. Well, hopefully I don't crash out this time. So a couple ones. I think the problem is when beginning to share screen. Am I still here with everybody?
So far, yeah.
Okay, great. All right. This one is going to be really easy. It's how do you get JSON into there? I think I have to use the path. So what I've got is a simple thing where I could paste JSON in here. Let's go into what the flow actually looks like. And you should probably be able to tell what's going on. So all I'm trying to do initially is pull it from the text field or the box here, right? And I want to be able to begin to manipulate it. This is just a playground so I can begin to understand. Now, do I need to set the variable like some path like stringify in order to make it become a JSON type structure?
You actually have to set opposite, like that will make it not JSON. But in your case, I think I see what's going on. One step ahead of that is you're using the rich text element, and that actually like converts to everything to code because it's rich text. So what it's giving you, if you type JSON in there, is giving you like a p tag with a curly bracket and then a closed p tag. It's going to give you extra stuff. So you can fix it in two ways. You can either change that to a multi-line text area element, not rich text.
I think the one I'm using was the multi-line not rich, because I did see that problem. Let's go back.
Well, if not, the other thing is in the rich text, there's a code button at the top. You just click the code button and paste the JSON, because then it'll do it as code. It won't wrap a p tag around it and all that.
See, here's the multi-line one I was trying to use, but you're saying on the rich text one, you can do.
You can do that. Yeah, like on the actual front end where you're inputting it. So like, I don't know if you're having users do this, you wouldn't want to make a user do this, but if you're doing it yourself, you can do this.
No, this is just for me to test to get it into the system, because I want to be able to figure out how to put the elements in. So that's.
So yeah, so I would go first. I would take that stringify off, because that will actually take a real JSON and make it not JSON. So where I didn't see where that was, but wherever that stringify path was.
Yeah. It was
let's remove
over
that, and then we'll test this.
So it was over here. Let's do the input. This is this one. Actually, you're looking at the flow, weren't you? That's what we were at.
Yeah.
Make JSON flow and then set the variable, and then.
So yeah,
Now
see
this-
that stringify path down there? I would just remove it for now. We might add a different path of JSON parse, but for now I would say you just click the actual stringify word.
Okay, now this is the other weird thing. Once you, there we go. See, now you can't take this off. You ever notice that? Like once you said it, I actually have to.
You have
should
to
be-
click on
whatever
it.
you click on it, click on the word stringify. I think you should be able to take it off. Oh yeah, now hit that little delete button. See that on the bottom there's a delete.
Oh, I see.
Sorry.
Okay, great. So that puts it in there, right? So this should be
Yep.
straight JSON when you do this.
So yeah, so now go back to the preview and we'll try to make it work.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you go over here. This is the that's
Okay.
the one down there. Let me get the JSON really quick. We're gonna do a little bit of inline editing, because that's just a section. So I was trying to keep it simple. Okay. You know what? I don't know if I've got the button set up right. Let me double check. I'm gonna do the multi-line text for sure. Okay. And then this is this is what's is it the Dutch guy's name? I always forget how to say it. The guy who built the plugins.
Junix.
Yeah. So this is his
Darian.
this is his flow or whatever he did to create it to be able to add in elements, just to let you know.
Cool.
JSON elements. Okay, so let's go back and I'm gonna hit the button. We'll just do a real quick refresh. Not to paste this back in. Poor little guy. Yeah, see, then it doesn't do anything. It ends up airing out. So
do we know where it aired? Like, have you watched the console or anything and seen any errors specifically?
yeah, it looks like it. My understanding is that it doesn't look like it's being accepted as JSON, because if I take this completely out and I just say add this in here, it does the right thing and actually display out a JSON. So if I use, so in a sense, like if I just delete this guy out and
You
I
can
just
leave it
start
there.
with
No,
this.
you don't have to. I know what you mean. I would say go first thing is here. Let's add a path down there of JSON parse and see. Do you think that's right, Dorian, or would you try something else?
I wasn't sure. So like, is anything even triggering? Like when on change of that element?
He was clicking a button.
I see. He's clicking the button.
Yeah.
And it
So then it
grabs
fires
the
this off.
value from that text area, sets it into a variable called mockup config. Click on that, the next flow or the next action.
So then it
Shouldn't
just,
the value come from a variable?
oh no, actually I want that to be straight text, because I'm just trying to get it to work without adding any complexity.
But how does it know like the context?
That's just saying add into that mockup config variable, which is JSON. It's saying add into that.
Oh, I see. So
key
this
asset
is
value.
targeting a variable.
Right. It's just the JSON pair.
So it's
So
all
the-
in variable.
Mhm.
Okay, I see. Okay.
And then all this one does is it adds another one, and then this one just adjusts the first one. I just wanted to make sure that these functions were working
yeah, and you probably
correctly.
need weights in between all these.
Mhm.
Wait. Oh, in here.
And then also
there?
but
but I know that it's not getting, it's for some reason when I'm,
Yeah, maybe just add JSON parse and see.
Yeah, right.
Like
Yeah,
it,
right
like it's
there.
not. It's probably putting it as a string because it's coming from that.
that's what I want. Okay, let's try really quick, huh? Let's go
Yeah.
over there. And click in, we'll click out, pass this again. Make sure it's actually valid. Nothing. All right. Okay, but I should, yeah, that's my question.
What does it set at the end? Is there like a text box there that it's outputting to?
Yeah, it'll output to this second box.
Oh, okay.
So if I take that step out, like what I was saying is, if I take this step out and I just start with these, it'll actually it'll export the JSON correctly. So I know the problem's in between here. And so I don't really care. I'll give you the bigger picture of it. It's like I don't really get confused. I don't really need to have this field here. All I want to be able to do is say I've got a base set of JSON, and then I start being able to manipulate it.
Yeah.
And my concern is just making sure that the structure is correct so that those flows are able to manipulate the JSON structure that I initially give it.
Do you need it? You can potentially just hard code that JSON in, or it has to be somewhat dynamic.
You know, I've tried that. I even
Yeah,
tried.
you can hard code it right in. You should be able to. I mean, there's sometimes you have to escape quotation marks sometimes. There's little quirks, but you can definitely.
Oh,
That
that might
That's probably
be
why it
it.
didn't work.
But shouldn't you think JSON parse would work though? Don't you? Shouldn't it?
I
It
think there
should,
might be is like comes out of the input, and usually you have to two string it to come out of the input. So I think we might actually have to like two string it and then JSON parse it. It's kind of confusing. Like I'm not sure, but I think if you just type it into that set variable, you can't actually use the text area input in here. You have to use a single text line. It's like, but you can just paste in that JSON and it'll remove all the line breaks for you and be fine.
You talk
If
about,
did
you
something
say
like that,
single
it'll work.
line. Do you talk about like over here using a single line?
No, in the studio. And if you have that JSON on your clipboard, you could try this. So
Yeah, I've
in here-
tried. I've tried. So like instead of using this very element, right? You're saying use
So-
use a text
use
area
text,
instead.
and then what I was saying is here you can't use text area because that'll actually add code around based on how it works.
Right.
So you add text, but you can just paste that JSON in there, and it
Yeah,
looks weird like that, but just leave it.
I've tried that. It doesn't work.
Can
If you
you
try that with JSON parse,
No, I
feel like
haven't
it
done
should
that.
work.
I do need
close.
another enclose here. So we'll do that really quick. Now, how do you add the path at this point?
So in the number 2, see if you can add a path in there, maybe at the
Me
click
here?
that. Yep, and then on that, it doesn't have path exposed.
Because
You
then
would
you have
just
to
basically set a second variable in between. So
oh, I see. So you just set the variable and set variable again.
Yep.
So basically it's saying duplicate
Yeah.
like this. And oh, come on, buddy, move on up. There we go.
I think sometimes there it goes. I've been having trouble with that drag and drop. I think something happened to it.
So and then you're saying from variable here,
Yeah.
right? So the exact same variable again.
Yep.
Oh, come on, where'd you go? There you go, like this, and then you say the part JSON, right?
JSON parse.
Yeah. All right, well, let's try this. That should work, right? We're all good.
Put the weights between them just to make sure, but
I got this little thing hovering there. Wait. Okay. We'll test this out, and if it doesn't work, I'm gonna move on to the next one. So
yeah, because the thing we don't refresh to make sure you're getting the latest changes.
it does hang up sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're just not sure what that function does. Duran's function. Like it might not be parsing properly or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it may not, because all right. So I'll ask you a different question is, let's say I can't get this thing to work, right? We're able to get the JSON on. What's the best way to edit and insert new JSON pairs without using this?
Like you're just trying to build a JSON object from values that are
Correct.
inputs or variables on the current page.
Yeah, or actually from collections.
Yeah.
So
So you would just do a concatenate and you just manually build the object.
okay. So now if I'm pulling information, this is where it gets difficult. So I'm pulling different information from different collections. How
Mhm.
do you end up doing the concatenate then?
It's inside the concatenate. So like the first part will be like you're essentially manually building the object. So you'll start with the squiggly bracket, the quotes, the name of the first property, continue, and then you would add another argument. And then that argument, instead of being text, it's going to be from a data collection or from a field. It can come from anywhere. Then you
I
add
see.
another argument, and then you do the closing double quotes.
Got it.
You're just stringifying or stringing together the object.
Okay, so then the next question is, let's say I need to do like loops of that over and over again. So it's like I got nested loops in there. Now, Junix has an option where he's got like a loop plugin. Is there a different way to do it other than with his plugin?
Usually we just do it either through a grid or just do a function.
The like no code way would be through a grid. Like you could get it, you could basically set things into a grid, do your transforms and pull them out. That's like a way to do it. Or, depending on how much JavaScript, people do different levels of custom JavaScript for that. If you want, one thing is if you want them all to be the same value, you can use a mass change action. But it's like if you want to do something where you're looping through and the values are dynamic, it gets
that's the problem. It's dynamic, and it's like I'm frozen up here. Like you can see here, I can't quite put through a grid because this is the JSON effect, and sometimes there's 2 of these, sometimes there's 4 of these that are in here. So I'll actually, every single time I get to this record, I have to go to a different collection and pull the many to one.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing actually wrong with doing that. You could actually build that out and do it. And often like that's the answer. I don't know if there's there's probably, I think if I were making this and I were at this level, I would consider just writing like a totally custom action where I'm just writing the JavaScript to do exactly what the kind of like transforms I need.
Okay.
I would just have it like take an array in or whatever you need, and then shoot an array out. And just do all my stuff in JavaScript. That might be
okay. I'll ping you guys afterwards for that. So I got a couple other quick questions. One of them is really easy on stylisticness. Let's see. Let's go back here. This one's almost laughable. You guys are like, "You're kidding me?" Okay. I can't, for the heck of me, can't figure out how to get this to fill out.
Is it in a grid?
Yeah, it's in a grid, and then I want this to be constrained, but I can't figure out how to get that out. And the same thing, like with this
light row, you mean?
Yeah. So like I have it
flex grow equals 1, and that should do it.
All right, and then also on the light box, let's say I don't want to be static, like I want it to be able to be dynamic around whatever I stick in there.
Either a percentage or a calc.
There's that's like the default light box, I assume, and that's how it is. So there's like it's set to be 80% width, 80% height, and then it has a max width and a max height, so like limit it smaller.
Yeah.
So you just need to change basically all 4 of those values. You can change to do whatever you want. If you remove them all, it'll probably do exactly what you want. Where whatever size your stuff is, and I don't know if you're doing responsive design and all the other stuff, but there's a lot that goes into playing with those values. You just have to play around with all the different screen sizes and make sure.
This is the part I didn't want to do when I was developing it, but here I am doing it, so it's fine. So you said flex is the answer for these guys. So
flex grow,
and you said it was 1, right?
Yeah, assuming that's in a display flex.
It is. I knew I had to set it that way. Okay, good. Thank you. Next one's it should be again pretty easy. Now this one is pretty easy sorting, right? So if I select the design, then all I want to be able to do is all the designs or products that are associated with that design to fill this box in, right? Now, right now I have it set up Oh, I was trying to use the bind single element, but that doesn't seem to work. So if I'm not describing it well, let me get back over here.
You're just
Once
trying
I
to change the second one based on the first one.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, bind element won't work in that scenario. That's actually for something else. I don't even know. I almost never use bind element. I don't even actually know what I'd use it for.
So what's the steps to, if I change this, then I can change that, the second one.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
usually what I do is I create a new flow called like refresh and the name of the grid that you're displaying down there. And
Okay.
that flow is what I use for everything. I use it instead of binding the data on the grid itself. So I just throw that flow into the page binding flow.
But if I hit the page binding flow, then it resets this one.
Well, you're not going to hit the page binding. Instead, what you're going to do is on change of these, you're just going to trigger that new flow, the refresh grid or whatever you name it.
Yeah, refresh this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then my question is, then how do I get it so that it gets updated? Because I think that's the part that I'm missing. Because if I could,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The trick there is, you know how normally you do element set value?
yeah,
And like that would actually set the drop down. Or is that, that's a drop down, right? A select.
yeah.
Mhm.
So if you do element set data on a select specifically, it's going to set your options. If you do set value, it's going to actually select an option. But if you do set data, it sets the options. And it's like based on the properties of the select. So in the select properties, you know, you can say like the ID field and the value field, or the display field and the value field. So those have to kind of match up with what you set in, but they will.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
usually.
So you set value and set data.
Yeah. And
Both
you
of them.
actually want to make sure you set the data first with a weight and then do the value. Because then if the set value goes first, it's going to set it. And because none of the options are there, it's not going to select it. Or it's not going to show selected, even though internally it is set. But
okay. So set data, just to be clear, is what actually puts the two pairs in, both the name value and then the actual select value that gets passed off.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you. That helps. Okay. Last easy one. I think I actually can do it right here. Pull up an example. See, well, that doesn't, no, back out here. Let's say this was the, this is obviously the image placeholder, but I used the file uploader instead. You know, when you put the file uploader, it'll actually give you a preview of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to adjust that so it's actually the picture width, or because it's always in that square format?
There is a way, yeah. Do you know offhand exactly how to do it, Darian?
I think it just comes with the style class by default, right? That has a static.
There's
width.
like a couple. It has a style class, and I think that there's a couple extra style classes that you find in the styles menu. But like you can it's just styles, so you can definitely change it. Just I don't remember exactly what you change, but you have full control to make it look however you want, basically through these style classes.
Because I tried to do it before and I just always stayed exactly the same. So I might have to override.
I think it's probably one of those classes. There's classes that are on the element that are like you can access them in your style menu, but like you can't see them when you click on the element because they're like in it. I'm pretty sure I remember that from styling in the past. Sorry, I can't really remember all the details.
That's when I was just trying to avoid from having to like hide the element in the back and then like show the picture in the front.
No, you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to get it done.
Okay. I think that's it. Template picker pop-up, picture preview. You answered that one. Great. Hey, thanks a lot. I will touch base with you guys about the JSON afterwards once I figure out, because that's the most important part of the whole thing. But appreciate all your help so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christopher. I love seeing how you're progressing. Every time you show your screen, it's like, oh my God, you've added on to it, built so much more. That is so cool.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Seems like you're learning super fast.
Oh, I got to make the money.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Thank you, Christopher. Alex Karpinski, calling you back up.
Sweet, thanks. Let me load up here. Oh, sorry. Hopefully you can see this. This is a follow on from last week or last 2 weeks or whatever. I'm still kind of plugging away on this, but I was hoping to get your insights before I further on deep down the testing rabbit hole. Basically, what I've been doing is like trying 1,000,001 different prompts for the ChatGPT action. And my problem is basically it works, but sometimes. So I'm getting like super intermittent results. So I was just like 5-10 minutes ago, I just tried it again. And you can see here, it actually sent the request, came back, and then it loaded all into here. So it does actually work. But I'm just really struggling trying to figure out like what's causing that kind of, I don't know, variance in the result. So I'm gonna try a few different prompts. I actually wonder if it might be with the action in that I should try the text completion rather than the chat, if it's going like taking the message history kind of a thing. I don't know, but I was hoping if you had any insights or have a look at it, like is there anything that would jump out at you that would, on like actions or Bildr or flow side of things, that would make it not work?
What's happening when it doesn't work? Because it just hanging
Well,
up.
It'll either come back nothing or, oh, actually, this is a good example here. So there should be a piece of text here that's bound if there was a response.
Okay.
So let's see. But basically, it just comes back blank. So this is a repeating list, and it won't show up anything if won't show anything. But I'm actually getting a response here. So
Yeah. I think I'm gonna watch if you watch when the response comes in and see if it comes in before the HTTP call stops. The HTTP call says pending right now. We can watch what happens. See that bottom row of HTTP call, it says pending.
Yeah.
You don't have to click on it. Actually, it's easier if you click that little X by headers. If you just watch it from this view. If you see the page change, oh no, it came in at the right time. So it's not what I thought originally. It's not a timeout.
So now this is a good example. This is that bound text I was telling you about. So this is like intro is how it's labeled in the JSON, but then there's no result here.
Yeah, click. I was gonna say if you go to the HTTP call, see what it actually gave you. Because that was a successful API call. It came back with a response. So I don't think it's like a timeout or like weird issue on that end. It's like something in the response must be different than you're expecting.
That's the response that just popped out. So there, yeah, I don't know if that helps. This is an example of there's the call and then the request that worked. And then here's one exact same, like done concurrently that did not work. So I'm just kind of, I guess I'm at a loss as to like what to chase down, whether it's if there's something here that I don't know that's going on, or if it's like the prompt kind of thing.
I don't think it's a prompt thing because those both look like they have all the information, right? Like I would say if the information was very different or if it was in the wrong format, it'd be prompt, but it's probably where you're setting it into the element to display it. That would be my guess. Okay. Like first place I'd look.
Okay.
Unless you think it's coming back different. It looks to me visually like it's coming back the same. It's just like maybe like sometimes it has a special character in it and that breaks it when you try to display it or something like that. But it's like the response from the API call at least to the naked eye. You can't always tell. Like, definitely have to verify. I learned a funny lesson yesterday where Dorian was telling us to verify and we wouldn't, and then he was totally right once we finally did. But yeah, it's like it looks correct to me, so I bet it's just a display thing. I don't know. Like you might just need a 2-string one, even. It might be that simple.
Okay. And
Well, the
I
other
guess
way,
that's the other
right?
thing is I've been like, taking all these responses and like plugging them into JSON decoders and cleaner, like I don't know what, all sorts of stuff. But I mean, for someone that doesn't know, it looks good to me. So
Yeah, but yeah, I definitely agree with Drew. I think it's something's different in what appears to be almost the same response, but
Yeah.
something's either not parsing properly in that response, or it has some character in it that's breaking the JSON.
Alex, can you send me the responses?
sure.
Thanks.
How about I'll give you this one that did work.
Can you share me on this Notion doc? That would be the easiest, so I can look at the example side by side.
Sure.
My gut tells me it's something in the naming that the thing giving back is not consistent.
Yeah, like maybe the key is a different name or something. I don't know.
Exactly.
Okay.
Which in that case will be prompt, and maybe just adding a second example to hammer home the point, what you really want would be the right way.
Or you can write like only return this way in capitals. You can do all kinds of stuff like that. Try to make it conform.
Yeah,
I've done actually both. So I was like testing this all day Monday, and I was sending like blocks of like 2 different examples, like all strung down. It actually, it was worse. So I've kind of like honed it down to where it's, kind of 60-40 kind of works, doesn't work. So
one thing that would be interesting to do in addition to this, and we probably can't do it right away now, but something to test it is, do you like 2 console logs, setting the console log from the 2 target variables that you're using out of the JSON? So like target a console log for the intro, and then target a console log with the array that you're setting into the repeating list.
Yeah.
Because that would give you a really quick visual way of seeing like, well, that came in right, that didn't come in right.
yeah. If you remember, so I've got these. I do have these here set up.
So are we seeing those hit the console? Well,
Yeah, go back to that preview and check the console. It's probably in there.
Oh, let's refresh the birthday.
Legos.
But yeah, basically that's kind of what I don't know what I'm chasing is the problem.
Yeah, I forgot all the different names of the JSON. I think it's going to be something like that.
Mhm.
You're just going to have to like get meticulous probably and just like look through those JSON strings and figure out what's different. That might be one approach.
Yeah, I think if you give me that Notion, I can look at these responses here as well, but it almost has to be that.
So this is that. There's the console.
So that's the console log of the array is set into the repeating list probably, or is that the whole thing?
This should be setting.
That's the full response, it looks like. Because that has the user prompts. We can take a look.
Okay.
It's a JSON unpacking issue, like I'm 98% certain of.
Yeah, because the response is coming back and the API call is not timing out, which is good. It's just,
Okay.
I'm sure Josh can help you figure it out.
Okay, sweet. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Alex. I can feel that you're like in that place when you're building. What did you say that you weren't sure what to do next, or like what the
I don't know like where
what you're
Which way
even
to-
looking for.
rabbit hole. Yeah,
That seems so common to me when you're kind of on the forefront of working with new technology. It's like, I don't even know where to push this thing like in one direction, because we're kind of creating that as we go and we work with these tools.
and it's like I've spent a lot of time like prompting this thing, like testing different which ways, and I don't know, it's kind of like a black box. People tell you one thing, but
The-
I
the
don't see
most-
that repeatable sometimes. So
The most helpful thing, I think, is like really cleaning up that JSON. Like you're trying to read gibberish and trying to like humanize that, like dissect like what's actually happening in that JSON. I think if you plug it into one of those sites just to make it like formatted in a really systematic way, the answer will probably come out really quickly. For us to
JSONlint.com. That's all.
lint.
Yeah, lint. It's like when in code, linting is like a thing where you clean up and check for bugs in code.
and
Okay.
I'm like pumping it back to like in a separate chat GPT, like generate this JSON, or like what's wrong with this, and like all
It's not even asking what's wrong, because if you just type the JSON in, the JSON itself is probably fine and valid. It's just been named something different, so it won't work if you've told it to like look for a very specific value. It's something like that. That's the cause here. It's not that it's like invalid. It's just that it's been inconsistent in how it's given it to us.
Okay.
makes sense. Cool, thanks.
Thanks for offering to look at that. Hopefully you guys can get that further along. All right, so we do have about 10 minutes left before.
There's one thing for Darian in here. We were just talking in Discord about dynamic URLs.
Yes, okay. Yeah, let's do it. He raised
What
his
is a specific
hand.
question? We were talking about just going over it, but it's probably smarter just to help you directly.
Yeah, Drew, if that's okay,
Yeah,
I can share and you can see what I'm doing. So making the slugs not really the problem. I appreciate you going over it, but I did the same thing you did actually initially. Is I had just a column for slug, and let's see, how do I share here? Okay, so yeah, basically I just want to be able to, okay, wait, I'm trying to find I have a lot of windows open here. Just a moment.
For some reason I can never tell what window, but those little thumbnails when you share, it's like they never make sense to me. I really have to think to figure out which one is which.
I know, I have so many. So basically what's happening here is, maybe I should open a preview really quickly. And that might make it a little more obvious here. So there's this repeating list, and these are different people. And because I guess like it's not a problem to put the slug's easy, because I can actually manually just put it in. There's not that many, there's 25 here. But when I click on this should go to the page that that is the dynamic page. So you can see it has the right slug. It gets the trailing / there, but none of the dynamic data is in. So I did do the URL route to the place where it should be, in theory, this slug column, but I didn't know how to set this up. So initially I had it the server side argument to
that's
0,
fine.
like you did with the ID, and to see if that would work, but it didn't actually work. So
That actually should work, just
Should
like
be
that.
like this for
Should
sure.
work.
should be like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see I'll set it here, and then go back over here. I guess I'll refresh just in case. And we'll click on one of these. And so basically none of the data comes in. And if we go to the actual page here where it's on, you can see that everything's bound like to the that same collection. And we can take a look at the collection really quickly if you want to, but
Yeah.
but it's fairly straightforward. It's just the name that we're just calling bunny. There's the slug there, some images, but really like we can just look at the bunny name field, and that's the one thing, that's kind of what I'm looking to test on. You can see it just doesn't come in here.
I saw what's going on.
You did?
Sorry to interrupt. I
Yeah,
saw
please
that
do.
last
Yeah,
time.
if you do, please.
That slug field, I think, so putting the slash in the slug field is smart because that helps you in the future to do actions in Builder. It's kind of annoying you have to add the slash yourself, but when it gets the actual, when Builder itself is looking in the URL to get that slug, it's leaving off the slash. So it's looking for just Amy Lee Andrews, no slash. So
You
what
mean
have to
for
do is-
for the dynamic URL?
Yeah, like because the
Okay.
dynamic URL segments, it's everything between the slashes, but not including the slashes.
Yep.
So when
Okay.
it finds segment 0, it's not going to have a slash on it, and it'll never work that way. You have to have the no slash in here, and then
Okay.
when you make the links, you actually have to like concatenate slash.
I see. That's why you were saying that. I thought
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
fine
yeah.
that I just had it here.
I mean, this is
Okay.
actually smarter. Like that would be smarter, but then it just breaks in another area. That's
Got
why
it.
it's-
Okay, I'll just do a couple of these. Okay, let's see. Let's go back now and just make sure I can use the concatenation function easily. I don't think I've used that one in Builder. Okay, so here's where the flow runs.
I think the URL was correct, right? Because you could see
Well,
it.
it'll need a change. He's right.
It'll need a change because I was pulling it in with that field, so it was
Oh,
just
I see, I
automatically
see.
there.
Yeah. Changing it breaks it.
Right, so here I was pulling in the slug. Now I'll have to instead.
Yeah, do a
Oh, you already
text.
have it in concatenate. Nice.
Oh yeah, so I should swap. Can I drag this or swap? Oh, no, I don't.
Unfortunately, no.
Okay, so let's just put this. So I just basically need that, and then I can add
Yep.
another one and do the
Yep.
same thing I did. Okay, that makes sense. Let's just check that it works. And what did I call this? The slug. Okay.
Yeah, it's a feature we need to allow users to do. Like what I do right now is I go into the JSON and manually move the objects around.
Yeah.
It's because I hate
Reorder
having
this,
to
yeah.
change them, especially when I have like long
Yeah.
there's like many of them, and I'm not going to redo all those.
So let's try and see if that worked. Okay, so now that worked.
Yeah.
And then I just need to fix the images and stuff. Cool. All right, that's it.
Nice.
So maybe you can, if it looks like we have just a few minutes, maybe you can just talk through, Drew, like what, so I think I start to understand the segment one. Maybe you can just talk through a little more of these, like what the type
Yeah.
is. So the segment 0, that's saying it's looking for the first segment.
It's a little confusing. Like we probably need more explanation on these, but segments are anything between the slashes.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do a server-side segment and you do 0, it's the first one that's not the URL, right?
Yeah, so the
your
first
URL here
one
is
after
profile,
this. Yeah, first one
right,
after
like
this.
0 is after profile.
Okay.
There's also like browser side segment or browser segment. I forget exactly what it's called. In that one, it's different. In that one, the 0 is actually the first one after the root URL. So it's pretty confusing.
Okay. And
Yeah,
then
you can't
what are
select
the
it for
rest?
this because you can't, but
Yeah, what are the rest of the types? And I think anchor is probably self-explanatory, like an element on the page, but like what are
Yep.
these? The name parameter and server-side query string.
server-side query string is like question mark something equals something, like a query string parameter.
Got it.
So
Yep.
it's just, yeah, if you didn't want to use a segment, you could just say question mark, slug equals, and then there's slug. And actually, I don't know what name parameter is. Dorian probably knows.
Yeah, like how
I've never
would you?
used it. I actually think would do the same thing as the query string, right? Because isn't that just a specific name?
That's what it
after
seems
the
like to me. I don't know. I've never used it either. I always use segments personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, then that's probably fine. If I just wanted to know if those other ones were easier to use or faster for certain things, but if this is kind of the common way to do it, you can concatenate as long of a depth of a subdirectories as you want and still be able to sort of increment this, or I guess you can even decrement this. That would be the way to do it.
I don't know if it
Okay.
would work to decrement it, but yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I was
don't know
kind
how
of
much-
thinking about that, like
Yeah,
why
yeah.
you do that, but like it's there, I guess.
You can also access any part of the URL in actions. So like sometimes, like oftentimes, if I'm doing something crazy, I'll just have one collection, one segment set in that dynamic part. But if I have other stuff in the URL, I'll just use the action. So like it's inside of any action actually. So if you did like a set value.
Oh, inside of an action.
Yeah, it's an input type.
Okay,
So
so like
yeah, you-
element set value.
Yeah, yeah, that's perfect. And then just select any element. And so that value, instead of text there on the
Mhm.
top right, there's one for request. And you'll see similar options in request. Yeah, you probably have the scroll thing then. Yep, second from the bottom. Similar options here as in that dynamic URL. So you just select, and here's where those browser ones are in there too, but it's segments,
Oh,
query
okay.
string, name parameters.
Yeah, this could be interesting, like grabbing part of the URL and making it a variable or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Yeah, that's very helpful, Drew. This was a lot faster than me going in a few circles. I think it was mainly because that bug I had with the slash and it just
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
working.
That'll be hard
I
to figure out on your own too.
Yeah, I honestly think I tried it the other way and then I probably just clicked on the wrong row because I only did it with one of them. And then I probably came back to that page, with all these and I just clicked on the wrong one and then
Yeah.
thought it didn't work. So then I thought I had already tried that. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. That was very helpful and saves me a lot of time.
Yay, I'm so glad. All right, well, that takes us to time. If you have a project on a pro plan, you can join Josh in Bildr Pro. He's got a link for that. You can chat him in Discord or email him, josh@bildr.com. I will upload this as soon as I can. Thank you for joining us for office hours today, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great day. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks.